Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC card. With your hosts, TBScoutingMMA and
The Guru back again in 2022 this time with Giga Chikadze versus Calvin Kattar. Whichever way you want to say it, it's UFC on ESPN 32, UFC Vegas 46. Man, this card has more fights canceled or moved, whatever, than actually booked at the moment now. So a card that was kind of once fairly promising. I'm so excited for fights after a month off, but this fight card is setting a weird precedent for possibly this Omicron era. I hope everybody's okay at home with their families, with everything going on. Just wanted to preface that as well. But TB, what do you think here, man?
Man, I'm so excited to get back. It's been a great off season, getting to relax a little bit, enjoy the family time for the holidays. But man, I need some fucking fights, dude. Like, let's get back into this. And you start off the year. I know we lost a ton of fights here, but to start off the main card or to as the main event, Calvin Kattar versus Giga Chikadze. Given what Calvin Kattar did last year to kick off the year, I think we're in for at least some fireworks, one way or the other here, right?
Absolutely. These guys, they're not going to lay and prey on each other, man. They are going to strike. They're going to bring it. That's what they're known for. Giga Chikadze has maybe the more interesting career trajectory in the fact that he had this extensive mixed martial arts career that was kickboxing. There wasn't necessarily in mixed martial arts. And now that he's come into the UFC and, he's kind of started off slow with his right. He had like he lost on the Dana White Contender Series, right? That's like the big thing. He lost on Dana White Contender Series, gets another chance and wins like the first like 3 or whatever by decision, and has now won the next 3 by knockout. Right?
Yeah, man.
Do I have that correct?
Yeah, so like you said, he really built up to where it seemed like he was comfortable enough to really let loose with his striking and throw his full power into it, or ran into some guys that couldn't quite take the heat. One way or the other, now that we're jumping right into it, it's main event breakdown time, baby.
It really is.
Calvin Kattar and Giga Chikadze. Giga Chikadze, is he now like a lethal finisher in the UFC here?
So that's where I feel like it's our favorite time. It's kind of time to fade that narrative, because the narrative going in, like I was alluding to a little bit, right? He loses on Dana White Contender Series to freaking Austin Springer. Then he has the split decision win when he gets introduced back to the UFC. He gets a split decision win versus Brandon Davis, a split decision win versus Jamal Emmers, a unanimous decision win versus Erwin Rivera, a unanimous decision win versus Omar Morales. The guy was decisioning people out of nowhere. He finally gets Jamie Simmons, the Afro Ninja, and he gets his KO streak going. And that's kind of maybe gave him the confidence to get UFC level KOs. He gets the Giga Kit versus Cub Swanson. That's great. That was impressive. And then honestly, his best fight, obviously, was the Edson Barbosa fight. But what I think was so interesting about that fight is that was not an MMA fight. It just was. It was a kickboxing fight. You sure there was some grappling there a little bit? I'm being a little hyperbolic, everybody. Sorry, but it was exactly curtailed to Giga Chikadze's specialty, which is kickboxing. And Edson Barbosa, sure, we all used to fear him as like an MMA kickboxer, but that was years ago, and not against when that's his bread and butter. So we get Calvin Kattar here, right, man? Tell us a little bit about Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, so right now you look at the tail of the tape, and Kattar's coming in, giving up an inch of height, giving up 2 inches of reach, and about Calvin Kattar, when he was facing the lower levels of the division, he looked a lot better as far as his boxing technique and his ability to really take over a fight. He steps up, what is it, against Renato Moicano, and those legs got absolutely mutilated with calf kicks. And, that really forced him to kind of change up the way that he was fighting against people and be more conscious about maintaining the distance and all that. But you still see him coming forward and not really, letting loose as much. It seems like he might be thinking a little bit too much these days. But Yeah, I mean, he looked great in the fight against Ige, but Ige is a primary boxer. So once again, it's like talking about the Chikadze and Barboza type of deal. Um, you know, the best part is that when you see Kattar face guys that bring a well-rounded attack, you're talking about Renato Moicano, Magomed Sharipov, and Max Holloway. I mean, these are guys that Max was using a lot more kickboxing and going to the body, using elbows, of much more varied attack. So a guy like Giga Chikadze against Calvin Kattar, I mean, Kattar, you see him, kind of walk guys down a bit at times, but he stares in the mirror, and you could definitely get Chikadze up against the fence. But I mean, you see Chikadze is winning the accuracy, the defense, and he's also doing it at distance. And then you look and go ahead, and he's the one with 2 submission attempts in the UFC. So I think, we've heard a lot of talk about Tyson Chartier saying that you got to make this an MMA fight for Calvin Kattar, and you can't just have a kickboxing fight, which, yeah, that's great and all. But I mean, Giga's been training with Beneil Dariush all these years over at King's MMA, and I think he's ready for whatever attack comes his way.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. What I thought was interesting was you just had mentioned staring in the mirror. You had pointed out something to me while we were watching tape throughout the week. Who else was staring in the mirror?
Mr. Edson Barbosa. He would get Chikadze cornered against the fence, but he wouldn't throw first, and it just allows Giga to get whatever he wants off because he's got that speed advantage. He's much faster.
So you're telling me a primary striker that has a propensity to maybe stare in the mirror a little bit too much, and maybe get hit a little bit too much, is going to be striking with Giga Chikadze in this main event? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, and maybe Kattar gets corners him with the footwork, and maybe he does shoot for a takedown, but I just don't see it being a successful overall strategy when he's going to be really lacking in the overall athleticism department. The one place where I do really worry about Giga Chikadze is when this fight extends out past the 3rd round. I remember watching live the Barboza fight, and we had a bet on Barboza. And once we saw how heavy Chikadze was breathing in the corner in the 3rd round, we were getting excited that, oh, hey, this is where Barboza turns the tide. But, Chikadze had that 3rd round cardio. And listen, I just need to see the 4th and 5th.
And maybe we were looking through that with possibly. I mean, I watched it again. He did kind of look somewhat winded, but I mean, it's kind of hard to say he was tired or whatever. Maybe he was just. I don't know. It's tough because we were on Barbosa. I mean, it's tough to say that. So, it's tough to say he was getting tired when he finished him. But I like Giga here. The narrative that I've been hearing, and this is why we'll start kind of maybe boiling down to our bet a little bit, at least my bet, is that the narrative I'm hearing is that Giga is going to get the finish. I'm not so sure. And I mean, the problem, I think it's just going to be a closer fight than the odds dictate. I think that I think it actually really might go the distance as I sit here and talk about it. I think it's one of those 48-47 or 49-46 decisions. I really do. I like Giga to strike and go out and kick and right and punish this guy that takes too much punishment. But I think Calvin Kattar is going to make some adjustments that we maybe can't see because we're not there in the gym with him. At the same time, he's 33. You got to figure he is who he is on some level. I just know for a fact that this line is out of whack. Minus 250 for Giga Chikadze, plus 200 essentially for Calvin Kattar. It's too much. So it just is. I just what is minus 250 is what 70% implied probability.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand, the general trend of Calvin Kattar's durability. I end up thinking myself that this fight is going to be going far, but I am interested to see if Kattar does go with that grappling heavy approach. I've seen Giga tweeting out a whole lot about, wanting to show off his grappling, his BJJ, how much he's been working with Dariush, how he's going to sub somebody. You see it at plus 2,200 on FanDuel. I mean, that's pretty greasy, man. Me and my greasy submission plays. Let me see what the update. Yeah, right. It's still plus 100 on.
And just so you know, everybody, I guess, not just TB, who I feel like I'm just having a conversation with sometimes. The under over 3.5 is set at. I mean, the under over is set at 3.5. So that's like an interesting, no, like it's an interesting line for a narrative that I'm hearing all over that Giga is going to get a finish. The line is set at plus 120 Giga finish by KO. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's implied that he's gonna get the finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely built in, and I think, if if there's any way you could fade the narrative from my perspective here too, like, yeah, I think it would be super crazy to see if if Giga can pull off that submission. He's got one in his career, and Kattar has only been finished by submission. So if he gets hurt and he kind of like desperately shoots, I mean, we saw him go for a Darce and an Anaconda against Barboza. So why not here against Kattar? That's my kind of like angle, but I probably, as far as official plays go, on the Chronic Combat Bet MMA page. Check that out for our official plays every week. And, third party tracks, so you know that we're not fudging with anything. So, I mean, it's probably going to be Giga and over 2.5. I believe at last look, it was plus 130. And it just seems like this fight will play out over at least some distance, and that Giga should overall get the victory. So I really do like that play overall as well.
Yeah, I do. It's tough to me. It's tough to play under over 3.5. Like that's high. I thought. I mean, at under over 3.5. Like, fuck it, it's going the distance.
You keep on saying under over.
Over under. I feel like there's not. People make fun of me for that all the time. I don't know why I say that. Over under, whatever. The over under is set at 2.5 on DraftKings. So minus 175, plus 145.
Yeah, plus 120 for Giga and over 2.5. So that probably will end up somewhere. Just keep an eye peeled on what we end up doing.
Yeah, what's the odds are? I missed that because yeah, plus. I almost got excited. Plus 300 was Calvin Kattar. Plus 120. Yeah, plus 120, man. That. You know how that greases my wheels.
Oh yeah, I mean, Guru's all about those plus money plays.
I really am.
So
listen, I've gotten so much better, at least on some level.
Yes,
on my parlays. So being a whore for plus money is not the worst thing I could be.
Gotta give you credit where credit's due. We have definitely been playing some minus money stuff over the time here. So our next fight, one that's sure to get the people excited.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what happened here? Why did this get moved up to the co-main? Jake Collier versus Chase Sherman. We had some late movement on the card with all the cancellations, and let me put it this way: it's just like you don't want to be betting on guys that gas out and guys that like going to decision, and this is what they both kind of do in the UFC at this point. So, am I running to bet Collier or Sherman? There's just no way in my book.
I'm still mad that Kagan doesn't get the co-main. Like, she's a former title challenger. Like, give that girl her co-main. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, wasn't it scheduled that way at one point?
I don't know. I'm frustrated about it. Like, again, that fight's respectfully a smoke break fight anyway. But I'm not thrilled about this co-main event. Yeah. So, like you said, this is a slot fest, man. I watched Chase Sherman be a minus 300 favorite to Parker freaking Porter, man. Right? Wasn't he minus 200, minus 300?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Stupid. It was a lot. So I just felt like, isn't Parker, and that was the other thing, right? Isn't Parker Porter a grappler? I watched him walk him down with jabs and overhands. Like, he looked like Muhammad Ali out there or something. He looked crazy. He was boxing the hell out of Chase Sherman. It was one of the most pathetic excuses for a performance I ever saw. Am I wrong?
No.
Am I missing something?
No, it was basically anybody that's able to eat the shots and put on forward pressure against Chase Sherman ultimately digs into his gas tank, takes away from his power, and is able to get the victory. I mean, Chase Sherman is 3-7 in the UFC. In his career, he is 1-4 when the fight goes to decision. And why is that? He gets fucking exhausted. Now, Jake Collier, since he's been at heavyweight, he went the distance against Carlos Felipe, and that fight was, pretty rough overall. So, listen, Felipe definitely ended up pulling it out as the fight went along, and good for him because he is building his name out there. But Collier did land a lot early, and he did land a lot of volume overall. It's just the optics of how gassed out Collier was at trying to keep up with Felipe's pace. That's what worries me when you put in these two guys together, and you see, Chase Sherman as the underdog. If Jake Collier was at that even money or plus money, I'd be much more tempted to jump in here. But I just don't want to lay Collier as minus money when I think that would be the person I would choose to win to the fight. I just don't see why I would want to play him at chalk.
Yeah, it's what up, boys? What up, chat? Monk MMatics. Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
we got
Daz
Daz Files
hey,
in
Monk,
here.
hello.
Yeah,
What's up,
yeah,
boys?
we got the people going in here.
Hi, what's up, boys? Good to see you guys. Happy you guys are here. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, this is a slop fest, man. It's hard to trust either of these guys. I was on Jake Collier over Carlos boy Philippe, whatever.
Same.
And I saw that fight live, and I actually kind of halfway saw it live because we were walking in, and I was wasted. We're having a good time, but listen, that was a damn close fight. The problem I saw with Jake Collier, other than the ridiculously poor gas tank, was the really questionable fight IQ. Why, if you're gassed midway through round 2, are you throwing spinning leg kicks? Like
Not ideal.
Why is Joe Judge running a quarterback sneak on second down from your own goal line? Like, what is happening? What are you doing? Like, where is any sense of logic in what you're trying to accomplish here? So,
yeah. Listen, I mean, I know it's the co-main event, but like, I really don't have a play on this fight. It's just a little too sketchy. The distance is minus money. Like, what? That would be the what I would want to play if it was plus money. It's just there's nothing I want to lay chalk on in this fight. Do you feel differently?
No, I don't. I guess I lean like forced lean. I lean Jake Collier, I guess, but I don't like it. I don't feel cool about it. So
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
it'll be a game time circle, and I probably won't bet it.
yeah, I mean, Jake Collier by decision is plus 150. If you want to go crazy, it's like Jake Collier by knockout plus 500. But as Monk Maddox, Monk MMA Maddox, no value anywhere. This whole fight yells trap. Exactly. And that's ultimately what we're getting to. And like, I know it's the co-main event, but like, we're trying to learn and practice some discipline on Chronic Combat over here. And like, this is one of those ones that like, we just can't end up with our bet sheet on this time.
You rack a discipline.
That's the classic South Park. I love it.
We're
working on discipline. Oh God. But yeah, no, I mean, listen, this once again, this whole fight yells trap. So why don't we move on to one that I think is probably going to be the most fun of the entire evening? We got Brandon Raw Dog Rival versus Rogerio Bontorin. Bam. Look at the stats here. There we go. Popped up. Shout out to A Berms 23 in the chat, baby. Getting that Excel going. We got, you look here just so that you guys know what's going on. If you see anything in the green there, that means they got a little bit of an advantage. A couple things I have to fix some formatting on, it seems, but for the most part here, I mean, you see Brandon Royval, he's a super exciting fighter. He's 4 inches taller, has a 1-inch reach advantage, 3-inch leg reach, and he's coming out of Factory X. Rogerio Bontorin has looked super improved in the stand-up recently, but that's against low output guys that aren't pushing the pressure against him. Matt Schnell, super disappointed placing chalk bet on him, expecting, the boxing combos, to win out, but he was just so tentative, getting in the pocket there. But yeah, Brandon Royval versus Rogerio Bontorin, with the way that these two guys like fighting, I can't imagine this fight going without some crazy scrambles, some crazy striking exchanges, and some big power landed. A spinning elbow is going to be coming from Royval, or some knee up the middle. I mean, just expect chaos in this fight. Where are you thinking about on this one, Guru?
I hate to be a little cut and dry, man, but that was basically what I thought. I saw lots of chaos in this. I felt like, and again, it's a little bit maybe more boring as a handicapper, but maybe I saw this line as a little bit more of a like a pick 'em. So I'm not saying that I like maybe see value on Bontarine or anything. I just think the fight's really freaking close. So I guess maybe the line is fair. So I like Brandon Royval. My favorite play though is the under 2.5 at -170. I just think that there's chaos galore to happen here. And when you look at these guys throughout their career, wins or losses, they don't see a lot of judges' scorecards. So when you have fighters that, again, and we go back to our handy dandy, odds calculator, right, at -170, that's telling you that, or -170, like I said, that's telling you that's like a six, is that 63%?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a 63% implied probability that, it's going to go under. So I like that. I think that when you look at these guys and you see how often their fights have not gone the distance, I think it's closer to like 80 per, like what is
Yeah.
the number? Do we know? I mean, I
Well,
guess
yeah, I don't have the specific calculation just yet for that. That'll be live next week. But I could tell you right now that at least in the UFC, Brendan Royval, both of the times that he's lost has been by finish. And the 2 times that Bontarine has lost, one of those was by finish as well. So already out of their combined losses, you're talking about a 75% finish rate. And as far as their victories in the UFC, I mean,
here, I got it right here. So it's on. I mean, if we look at Tapology, right?
yeah.
So Brandon Royval has 3 wins by KO and 8 by submission. So that's 11 wins of his 12. So that's a lot. And then if you look at his losses, right? His
Well, I have
losses.
that on the top right if you needed to see those numbers.
Oh, well, I mean, we can just. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. We just do
Yeah.
the math.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's all there, but I could also tell you what happened in their UFC career so far.
So do it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I already did.
Good job.
So yeah, no, I mean,
The fuck?
so but yeah, like you see, so Bontarine, his career, 3 knockout wins, 11 submission wins, and 3 decision wins.
Right.
So
So you see that these guys have a lot of finishes in their career, man, and it's a lot higher than 63%. So that's the play.
thank you, sir, for doing the math for us.
Thank you.
Gotta love it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How many people, how many MMA handicappers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah.
25.
We appreciate all the help
29.
that we could get.
So wait, actually, if you could do some more math for us, how about 25 divided by 29? What percentage is that? Geez, then weren't you good at math? Didn't you go to school for like cooking or
Yeah, no,
something?
it was 86%. 86%.
Okay, so
So
86%, and we're
yes.
getting it at 70.
Yeah.
What did I say? 6.
Yeah.
63%.
Definitely. I think if Royval loses, it's because he's going to give up his back early and not get out of a rear naked choke attempt like he almost didn't against Moreno, and then he didn't against Pantoja in the second round. So if Bontarine is able to get that back because Royval is being reckless, that's definitely a possibility. Also, Royval could hit him with anything, hurt him, scoop the neck, and that's it. Like so there's pure chaos, -170. You'll find that parlayed with something because me and Guru, Guru is not going to let us put down a -170.
I'm not sure because we just did real fucking math right there, bro.
So there's value, right?
We just did legitimate math.
I'm so proud of you. You joined me in the math.
That's math. That's algorithm shit. That's what we're like. That's big brain stuff.
That's what we're working for. So there is value there still, right? So honestly, is that a straight play of 1.7 units to win a unit?
How about
3.4 to win 2?
That's
I mean, what do you guys think? Are we crazy for making that a big play of the week? But I mean, I see. Yeah, look at this science, bitch. There you go.
Yeah,
right?
Science, bitch. Jesse Pinkman in here. What's up?
No, hell yeah. So thanks for helping us work through this, get to our numbers because we like working together to beat the bookies here. So why don't we lay down this -170 on a under 2.5? If this fight gets to the third round, it's going the distance anyway. So you might just want to calculate that. You want to get that better than the -230 for it to go that doesn't go the distance is -230. So you might as well take the under 2.5 and -170.
Yes.
In this specific case, if it gets to the third round, it's going the distance.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
So I think we kind of. I mean, listen, if you want to know who my pick in this fight is, it's Royval.
we're gonna wait.
Don't go laying the chalk on it.
We're gonna wait to lay the bet MMA because at least for me personally, I'd like to, because at this lighter weight class, I'd still really like to see them weigh in.
Well, I think seeing them weigh in and having it be bad would be something that actually, even works more in your inside the distance favor. So like,
that's interesting.
Like before that, maybe it should just be, we might as well, right? So we'll throw that up at some point here during the stream as Guru's going. Maybe I'll log on here to good old Bet MMA tips. But so now we move on to our next fight, and this is probably another one that's going to end up on the bet sheet. You got Caitlyn Chikadze versus Jennifer Maia. You see a ton of green as far as the comparisons for Caitlyn Chikadze. 4-inch height, 5-inch reach. 5-inch height, 4-inch reach, 4-inch leg reach, and that she's going to use it and move around. And yeah, she's going to be making the sounds. So as far as the judges, I mean, we're talking about, this is Apex, right? So
nobody's going to be cheering or be there for $1,000 VIP treatment stuff to watch Jake Collier be your co-main.
So when you break down how this fight might play out differently from their first matchup, I just don't see how it happens unless Jennifer Maia goes from 0.29 takedowns per 15 minutes at a 50% efficiency, which, that's like decent, but that means 2 takedowns on 4 total attempts. Where is she going to find the footwork to get inside of Chikadze and force the takedowns? Now, in the smaller octagon, there might be a slightly better chance of that. I just haven't seen her use that game plan before, so there's no reason for me to think right now that she's going to use that game plan here. Her takedown against Valentina Shevchenko was more kind of like a trip-slip thing in the first round, and then after that, she really didn't get anything else anyways. So,
it's funny because we talked about this already, like trying to break down her fight with Jessica Eye. Right, whether she was going to be using the takedowns and whether we could trust her to, and eventually we just came to the understanding that Jessica Eye is one of the worst strikers in UFC history. Maybe one of the best asses in UFC history, but one of the worst strikers in UFC history. So when you look at that, and then you get, she somehow gets this crazy step up with Caitlyn Chikadze, who maybe doesn't have the best striking accuracy. But that's all she's going to fire all day, all night, till you got to put her out. You have to make her stop till she's going to keep striking. Yeah, she's going to keep striking. Mm-hmm. And with her John Jones limbs, I don't see, like you said, like how Jennifer Maia is going to do anything different. She's not some sort of Henry Cejudo wrestler that's just going to get in tight and make it dirty and take her down. Bro, she's totally happy to sit there and strike. And when you see Jennifer Maia be happy to sit there and strike, and she gets outlanded throughout her UFC career so far, right? Like that's a really bad sign.
Not good. And so to your point there, how she gets outlanded in her career, she's also not throwing enough volume to the way that you win against Caitlyn Chikadze is being able to throw enough consistent 4 to 5 strike combinations to where you close the distance on the first 3 or 4 and you maybe hit her with 1 or 2, but that's how you wear down Caitlyn Chikadze, and that's the game plan that Jessica Eye used when they fought. So I don't see Jennifer Maia using the same. She just isn't high output enough, and I don't think her cardio is good enough. And when you saw her fight Jessica Eye, half of the reason she won that fight was because an accidental headbutt opened up the gigantic gash on Eye's face. And like without that, it's a pretty decently even striking match in my book. So I mean, listen, I was on Maia in that fight, and I was happy I got the decision victory. But like, I just don't see Maia being able to use that similar type of game plan that I did. She's not the same level athlete either, in my opinion.
And honestly, I don't know if you guys are a fan or gals are a fan of blind statistics like I am, but like for example, like when these fights happen, in the rematch, the person that won the first one wins the second one. Like I believe the number is 63% of the time.
And the line's minus 180, so it's right there, right?
So that's what I'm saying. So when you bet that blindly, anytime that there's a rematch, the person that won the first time wins the second. 63%. So I'm cool. Like Caitlyn Chikadze is one of my best bets this week. Like
wow,
I think at minus 180 there actually is value on Caitlyn Chikadze in here. Like I felt comfortable playing her up to minus 220. I really did. I really do. Like I think that I don't see it. not only is, like I said, the blind statistic, you already get to your 63%. She's better. She's gonna win this fight 8 out of 10 times. I don't see where does Jennifer Myers gonna get a finish? When? How?
Yeah.
When? How?
Yeah, this isn't Joanne Wood with the let me give you my arm for an armbar type of deal.
No. Dude, she trains with Matt Serra all the time. She lives and breathes at that fucking gym. Like, she's scrappy, dog. Like, it's not happening. Like, I almost thought the line would start running like to minus 300. Like, but then I guess it's Caitlyn Chikadze, so nobody like trusts her or cares. I don't know what the deal is, but I really like it. And I feel like you can also, if you're one of those really crazy bettors, I feel like you can do that thing where you stagger bet and you like keep it going, whatever the fuck. So you can play Caitlyn Chikadze in over 1.5 and over 2.5. You know what I mean? Like, you can play each Caitlyn Chikadze by decision. Like, I think you could play each level to that.
I totally agree. And listen, ultimately this fight just screams obvious outcome. Like, there are some fights that just like, who the fighters are.
Jennifer Maia by first round knockout. We can't believe it.
So it's like, we always try to fade the narrative here at Chronic Combat, but this just feels like one where like, I'm gonna let it ride.
So Caitlyn Chikadze, I believe, was plus money by decision before. She is no longer.
No, it's like
minus 110,
now, right?
minus 110 and minus 120. Yeah. So really tough bets. So you gotta go honestly, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that money line is okay. Like, and that's me. I don't know what somebody did with me in 2020 with but I guess money lines are cool with me now.
Wow, yeah, I really don't know if this is the same guru that I've been hanging out with this whole time. You guys are going to have to forgive me while I kind of like try to figure things out here. I'm a little scared right now.
I just think it's this new philosophy, man. Like instead of trying to find millions of different awesome spots, why not put we have 3, right? You have 3 different ideas. You could put 1 unit there, 1 unit there, right? You could spread out, or you could really boil down your best one and put 3 units. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of how I'm starting to feel. Like, and especially on a card like this that falls up, that's like that sand running through your fingers that has just continues to fall apart as you try to grasp it. You're scouting Muslim Salikov and Michelle Pereira. Psych. Oh wait, then they bring it back, and then they pull it the next week, and then it's like, but then they have somebody different on it, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? It becomes very difficult to like, scout this sport. But man, I think any handicapper would agree that it's difficult at times. But God, do we love it? It's honestly, it's part of the excitement. Honestly, it really is.
Hey guys, thank you so much for like joining the stream right now. We're loving the activity in the chat. Make sure you leave in there who you think your best bet is. We'll shout it out. And maybe we'll end up following you if you bring up an idea that we think is like super cool. Be sure to hit the subscribe. Give us a like on this video if you guys are digging it. I mean, come on.
Say hi to Dr.
What
Phil.
could get better than Dr. Phil coming in to join. Look at that. We got everything you could ever look for at Chronic Combat. But now let's get on to this next fight. We have
this fight's
Dakota Harry Bush versus Slava Klaus, Vyacheslav Borshev. But we were just going to go by Slava here.
Vyacheslav Borshev.
It's superstar.
Right? Did I say that right?
In Russia. Yeah, you did.
I did that.
We
didn't even practice that. We did not practice that.
We didn't. No, we didn't. And this is the battle of the best nicknames. We did not. No, this is the battle of the best nicknames on the card. And this is a battle of 2 very conflicting styles. Slava Klaus has got a very, very high level kickboxing background. I wouldn't say quite on the level of like a Chikadze type of deal. I just don't see the same level of explosion. However, his combinations are crisp when he starts letting his hands go. He almost does like a Piotr Jan thing in the beginning of the fight. He'll put up like the high guard and he'll just like, he doesn't move his head or really try avoiding strikes that much in like the early goings, I've noticed. And to that token, he kind of takes a little bit more damage at times than I'd like to see. So with a guy like Harry Bush that's going to come forward and just throw wild combos until he can get close enough to shoot for a double leg. I mean, Borshev gives up takedowns a little bit too easy for my liking at times. So I mean, listen, I think this fight opened up much closer than where it's sitting right now. And I'm not sure exactly why, because I see Borshev's ridiculous kickboxing output, his combos, the way he could just absolutely sleep guys when he connects, but I don't see him opening up early enough in the fight. And I do know that Bush is going to come out swinging early. So, this fight got far enough down as to like minus 170 at a point, but yeah, I guess it opened minus 200 and you got the Dana White Contender Series guy. I could totally see it. Guru, what are you thinking here?
I just think it's kind of interesting that, everybody's talking about Slavikov's delivering a sack full of finishes for his debut here. But this guy, Dakota Harry Bush, has not been finished in his career, in his professional career. He kind of didn't look very good at all versus Austin Hubbard in his debut. But one of the things that I saw you point out, because you are just you really just admire men's bodies very well. One of the
what
best
can I
at
say?
it.
There's just I got the secret touch,
The secret touch. Whoa! I thought you were
Whoa.
admiring him with your eyes.
Oh, geez,
touch?
what?
What are you
Wow, this
talking
accelerated, huh?
about? Whoa!
Chronic Combat getting off the rails. Jeez.
Yeah. What are you? Just you, man. Don't lump me in with whatever you're admiring or what's going on over there.
Anyways,
what you did point out so aptly, I don't know what you were doing to notice it, but you really did notice that Dakota Bush looked terribly out of shape versus Austin Hubbard, like dramatically so. Like, again, his body looked very different compared to his previous weigh-ins for where was he? I don't know, on Tapology up at the moment. I believe it was LFA, right?
yeah, I think so.
I didn't want to say it wrong, but yeah, I was fairly certain it was LFA. So yeah, where he had debuted, where he fought before at LFA. So he looked so shredded in those weigh-in pictures, and he looked like shit for the weigh-in pictures versus Austin Hubbard. And when we look back and we think about it, that fight was on short notice. I think he took it on 6 days' notice.
Yeah.
So I expect Dakota Bush to be in much better shape for this fight. And when I lined it myself, right, I liked Slava as a favorite, right? And I liked him at like, I don't know, minus 150, minus 160. He's minus 190. I don't like it anymore. And again, this is a new thing I'm working with. I line it myself. The line has drifted too far. I'm not doing it. So maybe Slava gets the win, but I'm leaning towards Dakota Bush and the value at plus 152. I think it's possible that he weathers the storm and makes it dicey. So Dakota Bush plus 380 decision or something crazy like that. Why not? And, Slava Claus has been beaten before. So it was a split decision. Don't get me wrong, but Team Alpha Male is not exactly known for having the best game plans. So
also, Uriah Faber is currently positive for COVID and is questionable to be in the corner this weekend. Yeah. So that's another factor.
It happens.
Yeah, happens to the best of us.
Honestly, everybody's getting it now with the Omicron.
It's crazy, man. But listen, Dakota Bush went 1 of 6 on his takedowns against Austin Hubbard. It's not like he wasn't trying, and Austin Hubbard does have really good counter wrestling and like defensive abilities in that regard, especially against a guy that wasn't 100% up to his full cardio, as we were talking about. But Borshev, he's going to allow
fitness.
Yeah, full fitness. There you go. Borshev Slavokov is going to give up the takedowns. It's just a question of how long does it take for him to get back up. And what we noticed when we were watching tape together on this fight is that Borshev generally takes advantage of when his opponents are hyper aggressive and not positionally aware of what's going on. Dakota Bush seems to really know what to do when he's in top control. So if he does get to that position, which I do think he does, I think he wins at least the first round. The question is, how good is his cardio going to be now with a full camp? And I do think at plus 160, I'm interested in just playing Dakota Bush straight up here as just a little fun time, huh?
He's a Missouri wrestler, right? He has a college wrestling pedigree, Dakota? Or
Yeah,
not college or high school, some
Missouri
sort
high
of.
school state champion.
Okay, so Missouri high school state champion. So I don't
But
know
you
what he did
see
for
it, you
college.
see him use it is the thing that I
That
enjoy.
we
So
like.
it's
Yeah, that is definitely something that we like, and that's something we enjoy. We also enjoy James Krause and Glory MMA. Um, yeah, so why not? I mean, I would consider some sort of half unit flyer on Dakota Bush. I would just say any money you want to put on Dakota Bush, be prepared to like. I'm okay losing it. Like
yes,
I do
yes.
think Slava Claus could absolutely be all over your highlights
Eight piece combination
Sunday morning. Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. And like he could do it quick. He could do it in the first round. What we're obviously banking on is a little bit longer of a fight.
Yeah. I think that just about sums that one up. Now, very sad news at this point is that like our next fight, we have Senor Perfecto, Bill
Oh,
Algeo.
it just came out. It's out. No way.
Oh no, well that's what I was gonna
Oh,
say is right
I thought you said there's
now.
bad news.
Well, there is bad news is that like they know that Brito basically his camp or him had a COVID exposure and they're kind of like waiting to see about a retest and find out if they can clear him. So the fight's kind of up in the air right now.
Oh, right.
But listen, I mean, it's just so simple watching the tape. Like I went in thinking, oh man, I'm gonna have a play on Bill Algeo, Brito gas is out, all this stuff. Like Bill Algeo basically says, take me down. Is like
Please. I
he
love it.
just like there's zero resistance on any entry. It's not good when you're facing someone that's going to be that much physically stronger than you. Brito has at least done a lay and pray, a couple times going to decision. Um, it does concern me seeing that he does have one submission loss on his record there. So, could Algeo potentially win a scramble here, make things interesting if the fight goes deeper? Potentially, but I just don't think Algeo's striking defense either is like that high level. It really makes me concerned how he just keeps his hands down at his
TB,
hips.
TB, we got some crazy things going on right here. What the fuck is up with these props, yo? I don't. They're missing. Did they do any tape? You got Brito by KO at plus 400 on DraftKings, but wait, you have Brito by KO at plus 550 on FanDuel. The
Wow.
dude smashes people.
He's also got 6 submissions, and that's +5. They're expecting a decision win over Algeo. I don't see him defensively aware to make it to a decision against a guy like this. Like Ricardo Lamas probably could have finished Algeo at some point. Spike Carlisle, if he doesn't gas out, probably would have been able to put Algeo away as the fight goes on. And you got to give credit to Algeo for surviving those moments, but you can't give too much credit to a guy that's continually losing rounds and losing fights in the UFC.
I don't know, man. I find myself liking. I think I like Brito by finish. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck? Why is the
Yeah,
line
what is
so
the
weird?
It's because
Brito
Algio's never been finished in the UFC, but he
Brito by
does
finish
have 2 submission losses.
Brito by finish is plus 260.
What? Wow, that's gonna be on Chronic Combat's official plays, I'm
So
feeling.
wait, let me look at.
Right?
I mean, listen, there's a lot of ways to slice this pie, man. You could also consider like, no, that's yeah. I mean that I like the almost the half unit flyer on sub. I mean I don't
Yeah.
even because the odds are so crazy. I don't even. We got to figure out which way we want to slice this. I mean, I guess that's what this pot is for. I really I really like the double chance on.
Mm.
I like Brito by finish. I think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
I don't. I just think that um he leaves himself too overexposed, man. He's got his hands low all the time. This extremely wide stance. Did you see the way that Brito smashes? I mean, he smashes all his attacks. He smashes those fucking leg kicks.
Yeah.
Algio's skinny little legs are gonna snap.
Yeah, I just don't see it going well. I don't think he's faced this type of level of
I
athlete that can maintain pressure.
I watched like a lot of Brito tape, honestly, on YouTube and shit. Like he goes for takedowns in like the first 30 seconds of his last 3 fights. He's going to get Algio on the ground. I really actually think I like this sub. I really think that it's can you throw it up? I think you should throw it up. throw it up, man.
Oh,
I know you're
geez.
doing something else.
Oh,
I think you
geez.
gotta throw it
That's
up.
it. That's
I
it.
think
All
you gotta
right.
throw it up.
It's official.
Listen,
We're
man,
going.
because again, man, at plus 600, it's our greasy submission prop of the week, man. I think you're gonna see a point. You got to see a half unit flyer on that, man. Like at plus 600, that's insane.
Yeah.
I just like again, like I'm talking myself into it. He ran with it was again, it's almost Michelle Pahea, but like almost even a little bit more intelligent. He runs out, throws a flying knee, kind of hits him, honestly, and impressively, not haphazardly, and not because he crashes into him, but technique-wise, goes from flying knee to double leg takedown. What the they don't teach that in MMA class. Like MMA class. Yeah, I'm a UFC MMA handicapper. They don't teach that in MMA class. But whatever. They don't. That shit's crazy. So yeah, I like Brito here. I think that's enough.
Yeah. And let's get on to a fight where honestly, guys, I'll just kick it off by saying I don't fucking know on this one. We got Jamie Pickett, someone that we actually cashed on with Chronic Combat last time when he fought Laureano Staropoli. But Joseph Holmes here, he matches all the physicality that Jamie Pickett could bring to the table. Actually, a 2-inch height advantage and this equal reach with Jamie Pickett. But yeah, I just don't. I mean, Pickett, he might go back to that takedown heavy approach and look for some control. But like Holmes isn't necessarily like out of his element there, but it's like he like waits for people to gas out and then he takes over as fights go on. But I don't know that I've really seen Pickett with like a huge gas tank issue. More so than that, he's just not a great overall fighter.
Yeah, but like here's the thing that I saw, and now that I look at this line and I really think about it, it doesn't really make any sense to me. I actually was able to do a little bit of tape on Mr. What's his name is amazing. Give me a second.
Oh, ugly
Yeah.
Joe, whatever.
No, Ugly Man.
Ugly Man, yeah.
Joseph Ugly Man Holmes. It's that's amazing. God, the confidence. The dude is he got the Dana White Contender Series win, but doesn't get the contract, and then he goes to looking for a fight. For UFC looking for a fight. And I couldn't find the tape on that specific fight, which was unfortunate. But this guy has rattled off 4 finishes in a row. Like I think it's like 9 wins in a row, and only one of them is by decision. He's got 4 rear naked chokes riddled in there. But from what I saw of the tape on him, he really stands very straight up and he fights behind the jab. He does use his length well, but he really struggles to like soften his opponents before going for submissions. And I feel like somebody like Jamie Pickett is not only going to be able to stand there and weather that storm, as we just saw with Staropoli, but he's going against a guy making his UFC debut. Jamie Pickett's been there, done that. He just fought. He was a heavy underdog to Staropoli. I'm sure he knew.
Wow, are you
he came in
suggesting what
there
I
and
think you're suggesting?
on it as I'm talking myself into it. Like to me, it's almost kind of like stupidly obvious. Like the line should be
Wow.
flipped.
Wow. Okay. And that's that Dana White Contender Series curse, right? We love fading Contender Series, guys.
Listen, and is it possible that I'm missing something in the breakdown here?
Oh,
Yeah,
totally.
sure.
That's why I was trying to stay away from this fight.
Right,
Honestly.
but I really
But you're here talking me into it, huh?
There's still it's Wednesday. I have the luxury of doing a little bit more tape and still talking to you guys like I'm talking to you now. I think Jamie Pickett at plus money there's somehow value on that because I don't see why. The guy isn't super explosive. He's not incredibly strong or hits really, really hard. He seems kind of like almost lackadaisical out there. Very like, and maybe that's calmness and precision, but like it was just he's got to me, especially what I saw in his fight against Shanti Barnes. No, not Shanti Barnes. It was the Dwayne Diggs fight. Sorry. In his Dwayne Diggs fight, man, he gassed out like towards the end of that first round, and then they were obviously both gassed, and then he was gassed in the second round, and he just pulls out the finish, like against a guy that hadn't fought in like 2 years, that was 3-2. So, I'm not super sold, and I don't know what people see that would quote unquote make him a favorite. But what I guess maybe the only thing I could see would be what the reach or something, right? I mean, it looks like the reach is even. So
yeah,
younger, less experienced, don't get it.
Nope. And I might be following Guru off a cliff there, but it sounded like I might do it, huh? So we move on to our next fight here. The last one that was actually kind of put together for this card specifically. We have Mcgee versus Remis Brahima. And man, I've gone back and forth on this fight so many times. So realistically, what needs to be said is Mcgee is going to be an inch taller, 2.5 inches of reach. I'd love to see the size difference at weigh-ins and face-offs. And I'd really like to see what Mcgee is looking like overall at his advanced age of 37, just making sure he's in as good a shape as his last fight, everything like that. The thing about Brahima is he's very explosive. He does love throwing that 1-2 to close the distance and go for takedowns. But if you use proper footwork and throw out enough jabs, apparently you can discourage him from throwing any takedowns in a whole fight like Max Griffin did. So that was super confusing and scary as far as trying to back Brahima here. And then Mcgee is just super scary trying to back someone that decided to go strike for strike with Carlos Condit for 15 minutes. So I really don't love either guy here. And now it's actually slid to where Brahima is minus 105 and Mcgee is plus 115. It just keeps going back and forth.
Plus
and
115 or minus?
I'm sorry, minus 115. I saw in another book that Mcgee was minus 105 and Brahima was minus 115. Exactly. No one can make their mind up on this fight. And honestly, I'd like to learn a little bit more about Brahima overall.
You stole my thunder. How I was going to introduce it. I was going to say you're not the only one that is going back and forth with this fight all week. The odds has gone back and forth with this fight all week. But for me, I've found my spot, and I don't know if I'm crazy, but I'm so nestled and cozy in this spot. Let me tell you guys, I feel fucking fantastic about it. Not only did I find it myself, which of course, a little pat on the back, but then I saw our buddy, and I'll break it now. Our guest next week, Brady, DFS, by the numbers. You may have heard of him. He was on the same pick as me. I found this spot, man.
You can even pull out the timestamps because you texted this to me like
I did
earlier on in the day, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh shit! Look whose play it is."
DraftKings moneyline decision only, which means if there's a finish on either side, no bet, voided. You get your money back. Decision only. Mcgee minus 150. So here's the thing, and it's kind of an anomaly when you think about it. Remis Brahima is 9-3 in his MMA career. The dude has 9 wins by sub, 100%. Not only by finish, 100% by submission. Mcgee, 30 professional MMA fights, has been in there with the best of them, all over the map, everywhere. Middleweight tough winner, welterweight fighter now. He's never been submitted before. Never. Not once. So you're telling me that if there's a finish, I get my freaking money back? And I get Mcgee to win by decision at minus 150. Let's ride. You could parlay it. You could play it at a high unit rate. I like the spot. I don't. If I get burned by Remis Brahima winning his first decision, okay, man. Okay. But like, that's not even the sport that we watch. The sport we watch is finishes, crazy shit happening. I think if it goes to the scorecards, that Brahimaj was not like, we watched the tape. Brahimaj does not have like great top control. And then when he gives up takedowns and he's on the ground, he cannot get up. He may be a decent offensive grappler, but he's not a good defensive grappler. And Court
And the
McGee's
gas tank is a worry.
And the gas tank's a worry. And Court McGee, yeah, sure, he may not have the athleticism, but he actually has the size. So
the only thing that worries me is I've seen Court McGee kind of get like, but this speaks to taking the Brahima side instead of, like you said, if there was anything, it would be a finish here. And Court McGee has definitely been dropped a few times. And it's definitely something that makes me think, Brahima with that 1-2, he could definitely land on him, maybe drop him at some point. But I can't just bank on that overall.
Right.
And once again, you're covered if that were to happen.
So here's the thing, like, you could play the opposite side of that coin. You could play Brahimaj by finish only at the same -150. But my thought process is, it's fucking MMA. Do I think Court McGee's getting a finish? No, I really, really don't. But if that guy's tired and all of a sudden it's the third round, we've seen that story before. I'm not going there. I really feel like it's the multiple choice test that we all hate. It's not, oh, well, this answer makes sense. And yeah, they all work. Which answer is best? So that's my best answer. Court McGee, decision only, -150. Let's ride. I mean, I guess I defended it like I was ready to bet my fucking house on it. But I listen, I feel good. 7 out of 10 type of shit.
To my point,
Court is old. Yeah, man. Yeah. Court is definitely old as shit. But I mean, why would he be getting in there with this guy? It's not. I really don't think this is about. You really think this is about a check?
I mean, well, you're asking like, what else could possibly...
I just feel like at his name and his stature, like, why you don't have to Andrei Arlovsky take whatever in the heavyweight division. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
So, anyways, as we move along here to our first couple fights of the evening, have to put out there that due to the absolute last second nature of these two changes, we have now TJ Brown versus Charles Rosa. And for the other fight, we have Brian Kelleher is now going to be taking on Kevin Kroom. I do not have updated stats or profile data for the newcomers because I was not prepared for those changes.
Do you want to pull up? Do you want to pull up Tapology or something on the screen? Is that possible? Something you can do?
Yeah, let's.
So how about? I'll talk. Yeah, I'll take care of talk. So, like, I mean, the thing that we see with the next fight, which I believe is TJ Brown, right, and Charles Rosa, I don't see any. I see the lines available based on money line. I don't see any props. I don't even see any under overs. But I also see that they are basically the same line. You have TJ Brown at -280 on both DraftKings and FanDuel, but on FanDuel you have Charles Rosa at +220, and you have Charles Rosa on DraftKings at +225. At the end of the day, right, and we bring out our handy dandy odds calculator, I think when you see somebody named not named just specifically because of his name, but TJ Downtown Brown, who we've seen a few of his fights at this point, when you see somebody like him at -280, that is a nearly 75% implied win probability
for a 1-2 career in the UFC fighter.
Bro, he doesn't. What's his record? Does he even win
15-8?
He doesn't even win 72% of his fucking fights.
Yeah, so to your point, like TJ Brown, he's out of the same camp that you had Derek Minner, who put on a grappling performance of whatever against Charles Rosa. But at the end of the day, like, do I trust TJ Brown to not end up with his head in there in a potential choke position? Because Charles Rosa is going to be throwing up crazy triangles, everything he possibly can from the bottom, and he's going to be unsuccessful a lot of the time. But like, the dude averages, a submission per 15. It should probably on paper be a lot more than that because he's always searching for something. Charles Rosa, he's way too accepting of the takedowns, but like TJ Brown, I don't trust his grappling cardio over 15 minutes, especially not at a minus 280. I'd probably just stay away from this fight, given how short notice it is for Rosa. It seemed like a desperate ploy for him to get a new 4-fight contract in the UFC when he might have been cut otherwise. And so he steps up on super short notice to help them out. And they're like, hey, you know what? We'll give you 3 more fights after this. I don't expect him to win this fight, but would there be maybe a chance I throw a small flyer out on him just on the principle, like you're saying, because of the line?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, that's definitely a possibility.
You have to. I mean, this is what you do. You start digging through your couch cushions and you kind of look under some subway benches and you just get some spare change together. And whatever little spare change you really, really, really don't give a fuck about, you go and you put that on Charles Rosa. Because that's the other thing. When you want to look at like weird, sketchy shit, go to his, could you go to his Tapology really quick, specifically Charles Rosa? Is that annoying? Do you have that pulled up?
I'm going. I was already going because they still don't have the Kelleher and Kevin Kroom fight loaded yet on UFC stats. So yeah, we're headed over to Tapology. The UFC
pull that up for me. So this is one of those, again, there's really no basis in this. No,
Charles Rosa. Usyk.
So there's like we were cheering about math before. There's no math in this, but what I love is a little bit of a pattern. And our shout out to our boy Alex Bahunin. He had pointed this out on Twitter earlier. So whenever it decides to load his record, I want you guys to see this alternating pattern here.
There you go.
Look at that. Red, green, red, green, red, green. What was his last one? What was
back on it? UFC. So UFC debut, loss, then a win, then a loss, then a win, then a loss, then a win, then a loss, then a win. It just keeps on going and going and going and going. You're right. This is a sickness that he has, and now he's facing someone that's 15-8, way too willing to shove his head in there for guillotines on takedowns. And I mean, Rosa, we've had a best bet on him. So
dude, Daz, I'm telling you,
totally with you on the whole.
Rosa. I swear, after his last fight, listen to me, dude. I hate that fucking guy. Like, I'm sure he's a nice guy, whatever. After he lost to Damon Jackson, I was like, good. Fuck you for losing. Whatever. You're getting cut anyway. Because how did he lose the worst fight ever? I guess it really wasn't, right? He threw that spinning elbow or whatever the fuck in the 3rd round that really like cut that whole dude's fucking head open. That shit was crazy. But he was like a minus 400 favorite in that fight. Listen, that's my fault. That's maybe one of the things that's taught us to really teach us to fighters to earn their thing. But I love that alternating pattern right there. And I love it. I'm going to take a small stab on Charles Rosa again.
So,
just light my money on fire.
Just a little bit. Might as well throw it away while you got it. And we make it to our card opener, a late notice fight. Brian Kelleher getting his wish to fight at 145 instead of 135. I'm sure he's so happy. Kevin Kroom,
because
coming back short notice here. And
wait, was it? Yeah, was it one? It was. I'm sorry. Was it one? It wasn't 145 before, right?
No, it is now. So Kelleher's been cutting all camp just to get fantastic news, like 2 days before, that he doesn't have to do the final part of his cut. And now can actually probably start eating a little bit here and getting comfortable. So really, Brian Kelleher preparing for this fight. He's always been a short notice opportunity type of guy. He loves fighting at 145. Kevin Kroom, he's going to force the grappling exchanges. He's going to leave his head in. He's going to get choked out. It's going to be a guillotine. Brian Kelleher, the line's not posted yet, but that's what I'm on.
Wow, yeah. There's no lines anywhere, are there?
No, nowhere. It's not even a real official.
It's not even.
It's not on UFC stats. It's not on
Best Fight Odds?
ESPN. It's not on Best Fight Odds. Like this fight, as far as anyone is concerned right now, this fight does not exist except for Tapology, because they were on their shit on this one. And Marcel, you got to trust Marcel.
Ooh.
So
Best
overall,
does have it. You're a fucking liar.
Whoa, they just added it.
You're fired.
Let me reload my page because it was not on there as of when I loaded it an hour ago.
You're fired.
That's it.
All right, so it's minus 330 apparently for Brian Kelleher and plus 270 for Kevin Kroom. I don't even know what this is. What ref? REF. I don't even know that book. Do you?
Nah, dude. So realistically,
it's very well could not be. So you're not.
Let's put it this way: is I'm not betting the money line. If they drop a submission prop at plus money for Kelleher, all over it.
Oh yeah, even a plus even parlay to round 1 and 2 or something. Fuck it.
Yeah, I just don't like Kroom is very not technical in the way he approaches his attack, and he's just Kelleher is so slick with his guillotine. It's just he can get it from any angle, top position, bottom. He'll jump it.
Whoa! He can get it from any angle. What is with you today?
Jesus Christ! Okay. You know what, guys? It's been real.
I need to let you get out of here.
Let's wrap it up here. It's been quite a night with the technical difficulties. Really appreciate you guys jumping on and sticking around. Daz, you've been in since before we started, all the way through the end here, throwing comments in. My dude,
appreciate you, man.
So much appreciated. Monk, thanks for hopping in the chat. We got my brother A Berms also hopping in there. It's all good, dude. Shit ended up working out. We got our stats. I think the people are happy. So
definitely.
Hell yeah. Honestly, this is a
just make
good
sure
way to bring us back to 2022.
What we really need is something special for UFC 270, man. A couple of those extra little sprinkle stats that we've been working on, that we've been thinking about, those accoutrement stats, the things that make us fancy, man. So thank you guys so much. Please, we are no longer a part of Google, Spotify, or Apple. Not that anybody really cared. So we're just kind of going full-fledged with the YouTube now that we're also a video podcast anyway. So just come join our live stream, man. Put those fucking notifications on. Like I said, I didn't even get notifications for that my own show was going live before I turned the YouTube notifications on. So please do that for us. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. You can find me at GuruScoutingMMA on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. You can find my awesome co-host, TBScoutingMMA, on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. Thanks so much for tuning in, and definitely tap in next week for UFC 270, Ngannou versus Gane, the baddest on the planet. Who will it be for the heavyweight title? Stay tuned.